Welcome to another video from Dr. Lock. Okay, so we're improving the workshop. We're building a new one, and we've gone for quite a high one here. So I'm going to talk about one of the tools we used and tell you why it was so good. So on building these type of constructions, a lot of people use like a winch system with two legs that kind of lift things up. And because of the height, we've gone for a forklift, and it was the best tool ever. We also did have a scissor lift. There we go. And you'll see the other video on that. But the forklift was the winner. The forklift was able to lift these huge 200 kilo beams up. So we just basically jacked them up and bolted them in. Nothing the fork can't lift. One of the other reasons we went for the fork on this particular build was because we were able to put a box on the front and lean that box out. That box on the end of the forks is an extra meter, so it gives you a real lot of distance. Also, you can just lift that platform just like an elevator and go anywhere you want, even if the surface is not level. And you can see here, it's not perfectly level. So where the scissor lift would play up, the fork didn't play up. So if you don't have 100% level surface, the fork is really good. Now, because it weighs 2.5 ton just on the base of it, at least 2.5 ton, doesn't matter how high you go, you've still got a lot of weight down the bottom. Now that particular one there is a fairly new one, fairly good one. It runs on gas. You see the big gas bolt at the back. That's removable, and you can just take it down to your local petrol station and fill it with LPG. Some run on diesel, some run on petrol, but this was just a gas one. You see the bottle on the back. I've worked around forklifts, but I've never actually had to drive one, so something yet again I've learned new in the last couple of weeks that I'll kind of share with you. That way, if you ever need to move a pallet out of your way or so, you might be able to do it. Remember, there are courses and safety courses to do. If you want to do them, do them. I'm just going to give you a quick rundown and tell you on how to make the thing move. One of the things to note is it is rear wheel steering, and I've been to the markets at 4 AM, the flower and the fruit markets, where they drive these things at like 60 kilometers per hour in reverse, and you see all that big metal on the back. I'm sure they could take a pretty good hit. Yeah, so they basically drive them in reverse, you know, because of the rear steering and the way they kind of are, and they're a hell of a machine. All right, so let's go through and do a little run through. One of the things we saved on, I mean, the fork was, I think it was about $700 or $600 for the week delivered, so definitely worth every cent. The box, you can hire a cage here from Kennards. The cage hire was about $600 for a week, so we just built one out of a pallet, cost us about 80 bucks. Now we got it forever. That was strong enough and took so much abuse, and I'd still be comfortable getting in that and going 5 meters up. That was definitely a dead set winner. All right, let's jump in. All right, so you got your seat belt, steering wheel, indicators, lights, ignition, and your 3 controls, your dash, and 3 pedals. Now, I wasn't able to work out what that pedal does. It's definitely not a clutch. It's related to the brake somehow, and I've never needed to use it. So if you know what it is, leave it in the comments. This one also has a nice clear roof, which was really helpful because you've got to be able to look over the edge and see what's happening over here with the pallet when it's so high up in the air. We have a couple of mirrors here, as you can see, over there and over there. We have a couple of lights up here as well, there and there, and we have a pallet on board. All right, let's go through the controls. So pallet up, pallet down, pallet lean forward, pallet lean back, pallet to the side, pallet to the other side, like that. All right, let's go through. So foot on the brake, out of gear. That's your horn, and that's how you put it in, forwards or backwards. Okay, let's start it. It's in neutral. Okay, so to put it in gear, I'll just flick that, but let's go through the pallet. Okay, so the first knob, you pull it down and it sends it up. So that's a bit confusing, and you push it forward, it sends it down. Okay, that's first knob. Second knob, push it forwards, it should tilt it forwards. Pull it back, should pull it back. Fairly straightforward. Left and right, move that just a little bit. Okay, so all those 3 are fairly easy. Button there, I don't know what it does. You can also adjust the forks too, so if you're moving safes or something, you can adjust the forks for more narrow. All right, so you got your lights and things there, that's not a problem. You got your handbrake down there. So to release it, you go like this. Foot on the brake, of course. To engage it, you go like this. To release it again, you go like this. All right, now let's pop it into the direction we want to go. Okay. They have this knob here as well. And remember, it's rear wheel steering. Okay, so we've just moved it backwards. You got that annoying beeping sound. Now we're going to be moving it forward, so just put it in the forwards motion and just foot off the brake. You can accelerate a bit if you want to go faster, but the motor has a little bit of momentum, so. And you're using the back wheels to steer. Bit squeaky, but that's okay. Alright, so I'll come to a stop, put the foot on the brake, just like a normal car. I'm going to engage the park brake. That's the park brake. Take it out of gear. Let's put my pallet down. Okay, now pallet's down. Because it is like a car and it's got some sort of transmission, once I turn it off, I like to just flick it into gear. Not sure if it helps or not. Someone can leave it in the comments. But yeah, not as how do you say, confronting as I first thought. Quite easy to drive, really easy to turn. That rear wheel steering is quite easy once you get control of it. The pedals, unknown what that one is. Someone leave it in the comments. The gear levers and all the rest, really easy. Sometimes we just needed to get that little inch forward, sorry, left or right. That one was really good. Always kept it tilted back, especially when we had somebody in it. And for height wise, this goes 3.7 meters, and we were building a 5 meter high thing, so that was enough to get us, to the top. As far as everything else, the motor lives under here, so there we go. Let's just pop this little seat back. So pop that down. It's adjustable, the seat too. And there's our motor. Little battery, little motor on LPG. Uses oil just like normal, so you might, if you get an old one, just check your oil. Just to make sure everything's good. You don't want to run the motor with no oil. And I do believe some of these are really flogged, these type of machines, so it's always good to check your oil, make sure everything works when you pick it up. But for a forklift, yeah, definitely got us out of trouble. And there's our pallet box, or man cage as we call it. Yeah, we put it through hell, and the thing is just rock solid. Lifted up sheeting with it, lifted up huge beams with it, used it as a platform, used it to get up to heights as a ladder, used it for everything, and it only cost us $70 to build. Okay, so there's the review on a forklift. If ever you're doing something at high heights, you might want to choose this over a scissor lift, mainly because it can go on angles and things, and you've got a 1 meter by 1 meter platform to work on. It's quite good. The other option is of course a scissor lift, but it's really up to you. But if you've got to move a safe or something and you've never driven one, it's not as bad as you often think. As long as you put your safe on a pallet, you can pick it up and move it anywhere, and you just take it slow. There's your brake, there's your accelerator. Get into trouble, push your brake. And remember the rearward steering, but the amount of control you have to lift heavy objects with these different controls definitely makes it worth it. Okay, leave comments. Thanks for watching.